What's going on, everybody? I wanted to recap Saturday's fights, UFC 316, which I thought was a pretty decent card, all things considered. And what I mean by that is this is a main event that I think some of us were questioning. It's like, why is this rematch happening? O'Malley didn't have a fight in between, whereas Merab only looked better, defeating Usman. Merab looked 10 times better in the Usman fight than he did against O'Malley. And that kind of in my mind is how I framed this. It's like, that first fight was strange. The whole Noche thing was weird with them being in the main event, but in addition to that, they both, as far as like the technical abilities and how they fight, they looked off. And then you had Merab arguing with the corner and then doing the kissing thing, and then also Herb Dean like clapping his hands at the end of the fight. Like, it was just strange overall. And then O'Malley had that injury going in and needed surgery. It was just weird overall. And I think this fight, the rematch, is probably the fight that should have happened the first time around. I think maybe Merab probably would have got the decision the first time around just because of the nature of how he fights. But I really like to see the level up. They both leveled up, in my opinion. The stylistic matchup for O'Malley this is probably going to happen every single time. But I think Merab sharpened up his decision making, because I gotta say, like, he leaves so much opportunity for his opponent to find something. He spends so much time in there, and he makes weird decisions on the fly. And you even saw it in this fight, in the spinning. He always loves to spin. We got a few more spins to add to the highlight reel, even after this fight. But even the walkout is what I mean. He walks out, the cage falls, or that guard, falls, and cameraman falls over. Just those things follow Merab. You never know what's going to happen in or out of the octagon. But I think they both looked really good. And Merab, I think, really needed this finish just for garnering more fans and getting some respect. Because this is a fight that you would think he could finish. You'd think he'd be able to finish out of anybody, probably O'Malley. So that was really nice to see. O'Malley kind of came in with a similar game plan, which of course he is, but even just technically speaking, as far as using that knee up the middle, which I think they should have scrapped unless it was like real desperate situation, it's just so high risk, and it just allows for Merab to get in on the hips, or, I mean, the leg is already up, so you can just kick out the other one. But he fell on his ass this time. Like, I would have appreciated more teeps from range and kicks from range, and more jab work. He leads with the two so often and cuts that angle, kind of a la Dominic Cruz. Just, I wanted more volume, I guess, to find more opportunity. The risk is always going to be there to get taken down. So, fuck it, kind of a thing. But I think Merab's stock, I hope, at the very least, goes up, because he gets a lot of hate online just because he wins fights dominantly by decision. And that's kind of the thing. Everybody's really tired of that when it comes to the Dagestani wrestlers, especially, kind of cultivated this. But it used to be like this too. Like, a lot of the American wrestlers just take him down and ground and pound. That was the whole thing. But Merab never got a finish. And this was really, really nice to see. So hopefully he gets some respect on his name. Co-main event. I mean, Juliana's path to victory was to survive, to bring out that dog. But not only to survive, it's when you get into these positions, work. Like, make Kayla work. Kick from the bottom, elbow from the bottom. Do whatever you can to make her work. It's going to be tiring, but you got that heart, and hopefully in the later rounds you can get the victory. But realistically, what we expected was Kayla Harris is probably going to fuck her up and probably get a finish early, and that's exactly what happened. Once you got Juliana's head like crunched up against the cage, speaking of like old school, it started landing bombs. I mean, you would think maybe in Juliana's head it's like, all right, I just took that shot. Maybe I can survive. Can I get some air in my lungs? Can I try to scoot my ass out and get better positioning? But man, Kayla's a beast. And I really like that up kick and the ref taking a point right away. It's a championship fight. They get warnings in the back. They've been in fights before. They know the rules. And the up kick, which I didn't think especially at that point in the fight. I didn't think was going to affect the outcome of the fight at all. I think was pretty smart. Take the point. So my jaw dropped when I saw that. I was like, hell yeah, dude. That rep just took a point, no warning. That was awesome. And there was 2 anyway, so it was cool to see. And what's next, Kayla, Amanda? Well, I mean, what else are they going to do unless Ronda Rousey for some reason comes back? 2 good fights. 2 good fights. Joe Pyfer, Kelvin Gastelum. Oh, God, man. So if you watch my other video, which nobody did, which is fine, I'm rooting for Kelvin Gastelum. I know he's probably not going to win. I mean, especially now at this division. But I'm rooting for him to win. Joe Pyfer gives me Tito Ortiz vibes. But what I thought would happen is kind of like I was getting the sentiment like Kelvin Gastelum, known for his chin, can take a punch. We know that about him, built like a fridge. But I thought he was kind of at that point where he's probably going to get knocked out now. Joe Pyfer, they talk about his power, but it's not power like touch of death kind of power like Joe Rogan like was building it to be. And like, oh, when he holds pads, like this is the most powerful dude what is it, Dean Thomas ever felt. The way he throws his punches are like he loads up and he throws, like you can tell. It's not like touch of death power. So I don't know. But he drops Kelvin, doesn't get the finish, doesn't follow up, doesn't exchange in the grappling. I thought Joe Pyfer would be fine on the ground with Kelvin Gastelum, but you know, he takes it all 3. Joe Pyfer's biggest enemy is going to be Joe Pyfer. I just don't think that that's disputable at this stage in his post-fight interviews. So more to come from Joe Pyfer. I think he's going to have to win back some fans after that one. But speaking of laying an egg, nobody laid a bigger egg than Patchy Mix. There's definitely some narrative going in like, hey, Patchy's probably not going to look as good as we might have seen him in the past. Like by the end of his Bellator career, he was showing signs of that. But man, to lay an egg like that, like this, I think a lot has to do with Mario Bautista, but also probably has a lot to do with, I think, that looked like a shot fighter to me. When you're only reading and you're not seeing the punches coming, and then also you're not pulling the trigger. We've seen this a lot later stage career fighters, and that's kind of a sign like, well, you know, probably time to hang him up. He's going to get another fight, and we'll see. I was expecting a little bit more out of Patchy Mix, and I think a lot of us were. But he did nothing this fight. So that was a little bit concerning. There. And then Kevin Holland. I mean, looking sharp again. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. He looks sharp this time. And it's nice to see because I watched his fight with Kevin Holland versus Joaquin Buckley, and he looked sharp in that fight. So I just hope string together 4 or 5 wins, hopefully this time. Where's he at right now? Kevin Holland. All right, he's got 2 in a row. History shows his next one's going to be a loss or a no contest, but I'm rooting for Kevin Holland. I'm all about the personalities. Like Merab has a good personality in the sport, and it's nice to see that when he gets his shine and a finish, that only people are more interested to see what he's all about, I think. And Kevin Holland, you know, he's got some Joe Pyfer-esque things going on, you know, when he gets on the mic, like, what the fuck are you saying, man, kind of thing. But, you know, personality is there, and he did a good call out on the mic, and we need things like that because you get some of these guys that show out and have great performances, and they're just like, oh, whatever the UFC puts in front of me. And it's like, yikes, man. It's not like a call out isn't a sign of you disrespecting somebody if that's what you're so concerned about. It's just, it's the UFC's way of saying like, how am I supposed to care about your next fight if you don't even care about your next fight? Give me something to care about. Give me something to look forward to. There was a lot of other good fights on this card, but I do think Joshua Van looked so sharp. I'm really looking forward to him. I like, it's exciting to see a young prospect come up, and he's got a lot of fights. How that pans out for him later in his career, who knows, but I'm excited for it. And then Zombie Jr., holy shit, guys. That was solid. That was a nice knockout. And it makes me wish I still had my Korean Zombie t-shirt from back in the day that Dana White always used to wear. And I miss my Kimbo Slice one too. But those two fighters deserve a big shout out. That was nice work. Fenyo from the fight site got every pick right this card. Shout out to Fenyo. He was live streaming the night of the fight, doing a fight companion, and I intended to, but my girlfriend and I got real drunk the night before, and that wasn't a good idea. And I tried to live stream, but I was not having it. So maybe next time. We got PFL happening for some reason, and then we have Joaquin Buckley and Usman happening this weekend. So maybe I'll have a main event video for that, or maybe I can get a couple of fights to pick from there. Not too big fan of making picks, but that's part of the game. So enjoy the fights this weekend.